Leia had always carried a need to win, no matter how small the battle. Even in trivial disagreements, she needed the final word, sharp enough to leave no room for doubt. That evening, however, frustration overtook her restraint. Her voice rose, her words spilled faster and sharper until one cut slipped through before she could catch it. You argue too much for a man. No wonder you fall short where it matters. The moment it left her mouth, the air between them didn't erupt, it collapsed. Marcus didn't yell, didn't throw the cruelty back at her. He froze. His jaw clenched, his hand curled slightly into a fist, and his eyes darkened with something heavier than anger. What rooted him wasn't fury, it was shame, a wound torn open she hadn't known existed. Without speaking, he turned and walked away. Leia remained in the heavy silence, waiting for him to return, to lash back like always, but he never did. The quiet stretched long and sharp, carving deeper than any words. That night, Marcus never returned to their bed. She convinced herself he'd slip in once she was asleep, and by morning they would return to their rhythm. But when dawn came, his side of the bed was untouched. An uneasy knot tightened in her chest. She searched until she found him in the spare room, sitting stiffly at the edge of the bed, eyes fixed on nothing. He wasn't sulking, wasn't brooding. It was as if some essential part of him had gone where she couldn't follow. From the doorway, she called his name. Nothing. She asked why he was sleeping there, if he was still angry, if he would come back to their room. His eyes flicked toward her briefly before settling back into emptiness. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet, stripped of anger yet heavy enough to crush her. Days slid by. He didn't return. When she entered a room, he left. When she spoke, silence was his only answer. When she reached for his hand, he pulled away. This wasn't an argument anymore. It was the edge of something ending. Desperation drove her. She tried everything, his favorite meals, handwritten notes slipped onto his desk, little gestures of apology. He ate without noticing, ignored the notes, brushed past her efforts. She tried laughter, little touches, reminders of better days. Nothing touched him. That was when she understood. For years she had believed fights, even cruel ones, meant there was still life between them. But this silence was different. This wasn't anger. It was the sound of something already broken. What she hadn't realized was how deeply her words had pierced. Marcus carried scars long before her. As a teenager, he had endured ridicule, whispers that followed him through school corridors. In the locker room, one careless insult became a rumor that chewed through his confidence. He could still remember the look on the girl he once loved, cold and detached, when she heard it. That single moment stayed with him, a shadow that never left. In adulthood, the wound grew deeper. His last partner had betrayed him. He had walked in to find her with someone else, and when he demanded answers, she hadn't wept or begged. She had simply shrugged and said the words that haunted him. "You're not enough for me." From that day, Marcus built walls around himself, burying the pain so deep he convinced even himself he was fine. Then came Leia. With her he felt whole again. With her he believed the past had finally lost its power. Until that night. Until her careless sentence, "You argue too much for someone hardly a man. No wonder you're lacking." Those words dragged him back to the whispers, to betrayal, to every moment he was told he wasn't enough. Only this time, the wound was inflicted by the one person he trusted most. For the first time in their marriage, he wondered if he could ever see her the same way again. Leia clung to hope that time would mend it. But each day, Marcus drifted farther. One evening she stepped into the spare room determined to bridge the gap, but he wasn't there. The shower ran in the bathroom, yet his phone lay on the bed. She never snooped, but her eyes caught the words on the glowing screen. Subject: initiating divorce proceedings. Her breath hitched. Divorce. She told herself it had to be a mistake, but deep down she already knew. When Marcus stepped out, she asked softly, "Are you really thinking of ending our marriage over one fight?" For the first time in weeks, his gaze met hers. Not with rage, not with heartbreak, just emptiness. His voice was calm but final. "You think this is only about that night." And in that moment she understood. It wasn't just her words. It was years of his hidden scars, pain unspoken, distance left unhealed. That night had been the breaking point, not the cause. She threw herself into trying to repair what was left. Apologies in words and actions, desperate reminders of their love. He answered with short, hollow responses. His silence told her more than his words ever could. She didn't need him to admit it. His absence screamed the truth. One night, she found him packing. A suitcase lay open, his clothes neatly folded inside. Panic rushed through her. "Are you really leaving?" she whispered. Marcus didn't answer immediately. He pressed his hands to the suitcase, breathing deeply before turning toward her. His tone was steady, yet carried the truth she feared. "I don't know if I can move past this." Those words struck harder than anger ever could. Tears filled her eyes as her pride shattered. "I love you," she whispered, trembling. "I made a mistake. I wish I could take it back. Just tell me what to do." For the first time in weeks, something flickered in his expression. Not emptiness, but hesitation. Conflict. He paused, then spoke softly. "You can't undo what was said, and I can't unhear it." Her heart sank, but then he added, "Maybe I'm not ready to leave. Not yet." It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't a promise. But it was something. That night Marcus stayed, though the distance lingered. The scars would remain, and the road ahead would be long. Leah finally understood. Love wasn't about winning. It was about surviving the wounds words could leave behind. Whether their love could endure, only time would tell.